let's get into this next story, y'all. So my question is it too early to start calling Twitter just can't get right?
They've been.
Because it turns out that at least part of Twitter's source code has been publicly available on GitHub for months. It didn't go up. They figured it out and then they pulled it right down. They say they don't know how long it's been available, but it's definitely been several months. I'm reading here. We're not exactly sure how long the code has been in the open, but GitHub did respond to a copyright claim and removed the code last Friday. So ultimately, GitHub, got a claim from, from Twitter. You need to take this copyright stuff down. They immediately did that. But here's what I would expect Twitter to do. Well, who posted the code? Completely expect that. Here's also what I would expect Twitter to do. Who downloaded the code? But the question that I have is the U.S. District Court of the Northern District, are they going to actually, rule that not only the person who put it up, we need you to disclose to us who actually went out and downloaded this code. That's problematic for me, but I don't know.
Because doesn't this start creeping into TikTok territory? Like the same issue we're talking about TikTok for right now. The fact that China could subpoena or demand information from that platform. Ain't this the same thing? Am I tripping? Or is this the same thing?
Well, the way TikTok is saying it is like this. People can't see me online, but I'm doing my hands vertically out. The way they're saying it is like this. So that's what makes it different. It's the same words. It's just the hand gestures was different. I think so, Stephanie. It's like, I'm kind of wondering. It's like, wait a minute. Twitter was definitely violated by somebody posting their source code. That is absolutely violated. That is absolutely a breach. And if someone committed the crime of posting that up, then I can see why you would go to GitHub and say, who actually did this? Can you give us information on who committed this crime? But
you should not be able to compel them to tell you. You need to go back to Twitter and start your little investigation there and start interviewing old employees and try to get somebody to snitch on somebody else and all of that. But law enforcement should not be able to compel GitHub to turn over information about who downloaded what, when, and whatever. They should not be able to do that, because literally that's exactly the same thing that we are
scared.
Raking TikTok over right now.
We said this last week about TikTok. Okay, you're putting all this stuff in Oracle data center in Texas. You're doing all these things. What about when Beijing says, but I want the data? What do you do then? Because that's what's happening right now. Right. Twitter is they're going to the court and they're saying, we want to know not only who put it up, we want to know who downloaded it. Yeah. And I'm not a lawyer. I don't play one on a podcast, but I'm just wondering, if someone posts some code to an open source thing to where you can go and you can look at the code and you can view the code, is it a crime for you to download code that is posted?
That's been posted on a public open source website.
Exactly. It has been there for months. It's like, Twitter doesn't need to know who I am because I downloaded some code that, as far as I was concerned, was completely legal. Like that. That's right. Where.
How would I know that code wasn't? How would I know that code was stolen if it's on an open source website?
Right.
I'm just going to look at it. Now, the rest of the thread of that now is, wait a minute, I think I just lost my train of thought.
Well, go ahead. As far as I'm concerned, everybody who downloaded it was a journalist. That's what I'm saying. It's like, we can't give you that information. Everyone who downloaded it just happens to be a journalist.
But also, I could see where, because, and we're going to talk about this when we get to TikTok. Part of what the Restrict Act is trying to do is repeal Section 230 of the Federal Communications Commission Act that says that platforms cannot be held responsible for the content on their platform. If that were to happen, then GitHub would be under fire and be subject to all kind of fines and legal liabilities that would probably compel them to turn this over. So, like I said, when we get to talking about that, like it's all tied up in together. It's all together. And we are in a bad place on a super slippery slope right now as it relates to, our lives are on the internet, our digital lives.
Yeah, this one, like I said, it's I can't fault Twitter for asking of the court, because Twitter's going to do what Twitter's going to do. But it's like, court, are you really going to allow this company to subpoena this other company, this other organization, to find out who just went and read the stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember where I saw this. Like, well, it's kind of like, there was a book that was in the library that shouldn't have been in the library, and now you want to know who all read the book in the library. So why are you worried about who read the book and not worried about who actually put the book in the library? It's like, seems to me like you worried about the wrong thing. Number one, why are you not worried about who stole the information out of, like you said it exactly right. Start your investigation in your house where the stuff was stole, instead of worrying about who actually read it after the fact.
Right.
But like I said, I fully expect Twitter asks for everything they can ask for, but I'm really interested to see what the U.S. District Court of the Northern District ultimately does in California on this, because this is what I want to pay attention to. Are you going to actually say, yeah, here's who got it, and here's all the people who read it? Because my gut would tell me, and I'm just trying to think this out. If I know I just hacked Twitter and got their code and posted to GitHub, you ain't gonna find out who I am. But there could be some regular people. Oh, this is really interesting, some really interesting code. Excuse me. Let me go take a look at it. And they might actually be registered as who they are. So my concern now is for the people who just unwittingly downloaded this information. They're not necessarily doing anything nefarious with it, but they just went and they just looked at this code. Why are you worried about who they are?
Well, let's keep it a buck. These people knew who they were doing when they're trying to download the source code for Twitter. So hopefully they made sure that, as similarly as the person who uploaded it tried to protect themselves, or whatever the case they did, to try to anonymize themselves. I'm pretty sure the downloaders
would it have even been that obvious? Like, if they didn't title it TikTok source code, like, would it have even been that obvious that that's what it was? You may have just been looking for searching on, an algorithm to do X, Y, and Z, and maybe it got tagged in those kind of in that way, and you didn't even know what you were looking at. I mean, I don't know what TikTok source code looks like. If there are variable names in there that are tweet and blue and all the rest of that, but like you might not have even known. And you were just looking for code.